When you go to a paranormal investigation or get around a group of ghost hunters, you understand you're going to meet all different types of people. Some of them might be sensitives or psychics, some are skeptics, and some are just there to fuck around and find out. But you hope down in your heart that everybody who's there is on board and serious about finding the truth. I'm Beth Ann Campbell, and this is Something Weird Happened Here. Welcome to Something Weird Happened Here, the podcast for people who love a twisted tale but aren't afraid to poke at it a bit. We share stories that are postmarked peculiar and then explore the story with curiosity and an open mind. Stay tuned after the show to find out how to submit your strange saga, and maybe we or you will share it on air. Now let's get started, because no matter where you are in this mysterious world, something weird happened here. This tale is postmarked Michigan, USA. Subject line, Ghost Hunting Memories, Part 1. Today I'm welcoming back my friend Evie. Evie joined me for a couple of episodes where we talked about her intuitive abilities, seeing ghosts in her home, pet spirits, soul contracts, tarot cards, lots of things. Today we're going to be talking about the good, the bad, and the fucking ugly of paranormal investigation. Evie, welcome to Something Weird Happened Here. Yvette, Yvette, sweet Yvette.
Hello.
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 Well, thank you for joining me again for
Oh, of
another episode
course.
of Something Weird Happened Here. Last time we talked a lot about your abilities and some really cool stuff. And today I want to talk about ghost hunting because I got my start in hunting with a group that you had created with your then partner, husband, and my husband and I joined your group, and we were with you, I think, for like 3 years. And then you guys were kind of on the east side of the state, and we were sort of more on the
Yeah,
west
yep.
side. So we sort of formed our own group, but I thought we would, maybe compare some notes because I'm sure that between the two of us, we will have many something weird happened here stories about ghost hunting, and they won't always be paranormal. That's all I'm gonna say. Is
Like
sometimes,
I call, you know what? I remember having a conversation with my mom years ago because she was very into bringing things in and didn't know what to call it. And I said, Mom, there's paranormal, there's supernatural, and then there's what I'm calling the ubernatural.
ooh,
It's all, I mean, yes, it doesn't have to be a ghost or an alien. It can be someone from another dimension. Like it, you walk into an area that is highly active and people are like, we're seeing things, we're experiencing things. You don't know what's going to come out of those shadows. So as far as I'm concerned, I classified it up to like uber natural, which is like, German for great,
yeah. You and I are
great.
going to be like on the opposite sides coming to the center because you told me, you said on our last episode and in another call that you've never walked into a house where you haven't sensed something. And you have that ability. You have the ability to sense, you get impressions, you get communications from people and not people who are not no longer alive or not of this dimension. And I in 10 years of ghost hunting, I never the stories would scare me a little bit, but there was nothing that I ever saw that really blew me away. Like I never saw a full body apparition. We really didn't get a ton of conclusive, even mostly conclusive evidence. It was all, which is fine because Sean and I, were very skeptical and we had other people on our team. What the most, actually, I will say that the things that blew me away most were we had a sensitive on our team and she nailed a couple of things that she had no idea about. That's probably what the biggest thing. But I never really, when you talk about uber paranormal,
The
like
uber natural.
uber natural. It's like
Uber natural.
that never happened. But let's kick back and start with why did you? I know you mentioned last time something that was really interesting, and you said that paranormal investigation helped you kind of refine and practice your intuitive skills. But was that the reason that you got into it, or if not, why did you decide at some point, hey, why don't I go to people's houses and try to, find evidence of a haunting.
I think it was it was mostly to understand what I was experiencing myself and what I had experienced myself all through my entire childhood. And then when I realized, hey, it's a thing, it's not just me seeing weird things and experiencing things. There's people, as I got older and talked to people and became an adult and saw it out there, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's other people, there's other people out there weird like this.
Everybody,
These
somebody
things
else
are
has a
happening.
Henry. Somebody else has a
Yes.
Henry in their house.
And yeah, because I mean, I had had a lot of experiences from childhood till I decided to professionally look for ghosts. That I was like, there has got to be something wrong with me. I don't understand what's what the So I think I just did it because first of all, I realized there was a not a market for it, but this was happening to people.
Oh yeah.
Other people
Yeah.
were experiencing these things, maybe different or the same or completely off the wall. And I was like, okay, there's something more to it. And that's what drew me into let's see what are other people thinking? What are they going through? Why are these things happening?
I think you a little bit before us, but we all kind of really got into it just before it really started blowing up. Just it was really just before phone cameras were very popular.
Right?
So it was people were like, I don't know what's going on here. I felt like as we got, 10 years after we started, I felt like there was a lot more
Well, even
um
internet was still new.
yeah, internet was new and it didn't have the kind of access. So people really relied on somebody to come in with the right kind of camera and multiple cameras and night vision and stuff because they didn't have that stuff. Flash forward 10 years after that, everybody had a camera. Everybody was like, look what I got. It's an orb. And I'm like, okay, I mean, it's really just looks like a piece of dust, but okay. Everybody just thought that they were, and then all the shows were out, Ghost Hunters
Right.
and,
Then it took off.
and then
And
it
the only
took
thing we
off and it
had,
changed.
we were listening to a podcast the other day, me and my boyfriend, and it was a conspiracy one about this one ufologist guy back in the 90s. And the story that he had was put onto Unsolved Mysteries, and I was like, I remember that episode as a kid. That was like the only experience that weird things were happening out in the real world was on Unsolved Mysteries, and the
Right.
very random times they would have a
Yeah.
poltergeist or a UFO show. Like that was it
Well,
until the until the late 90s when internet, when everybody
yeah.
threw it out there.
I think when I went into it. So I remember exactly when we signed up. You guys, I don't know where he found you, but you must have had either on your website or somewhere. Social media wasn't really super. I mean, it was there, but
We
it wasn't really big. But he found out that you guys were looking for people, junior members to come in. And I remember coming into the kitchen one day, and Sean and I were still just dating. We hadn't even gotten engaged, and he was signing up for this paranormal investigation. And I was a little hurt. I was like, what? You didn't even think of me? So I'm like, yeah, sign me up. But I think I really went into it thinking it was going to be like like the movie Poltergeist, right? Like super
ah
scary. And it was for me, nothing like that at all. But
That was the very the number one thing. And so when you see the TV shows, you only see the episodes where they get something. You don't see
right.
all the shows that were a flop because, and again, I'm gonna get poo-pooed for this in the paranormal community.
Oh, we'll
But
talk
that's
about that.
why, right? That's why when we would show up somewhere, we would have a list of interview questions, and we would first, without the people knowing that we were there to help, we would give them a little psychoanalyzation first because there's a very thin line between what the human psyche can produce and what the ubernatural can do. And unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, your brain can create things to happen that mimic what the spiritual realm can
Yeah.
do,
Or
And
or
so,
you assume that something is.
yeah.
And
And
we'll have a case like that because I want to talk about there's a case that we did together that kind of had that element to it. But yeah, I mean we even had when we started our team, Campbell Paranormal Investigations, we got submissions from people all the time. I just went out and looked at my old file and I'm like, there's just like a stack of just people would send pictures and I'm like, dude, that just looks like a reflection. Somebody's like, yeah, I took this picture, of Washington, D.C. It looks like a specter. And I'm like, look, it's a reflection on your glass. You can tell.
Yep.
Or somebody would call and they'd go, I had a guy who called who was I would bet money was schizophrenic because he said he would hear voices that would say die, 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 kill, 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 and he said he had been
Oh,
diagnosed with, something. So yeah, so there's so much to it that I think people when they if only thing they know is the shows, they just think,
that's
oh,
why my first rule is rule out everything it can be, and then if you can't rule it out anymore, then we'll investigate.
yes,
And you have to be very humble and say, "Oh, well, I do have bipolar depression. I do
yeah,
have schizophrenia, or my mom has schizophrenia and she lives in the house." You have to be that
transparent.
100% transparent about your situation. And even now, even when I in my own house, the ghosts that I've encountered in this own house that I live in, if I go into anyone else's house, it's just second nature now. I rule out everything else that I can think it would be before I even consider I
Yeah,
did hear that or I did see that.
yeah,
You
exactly.
have to. And I mean that's your credibility there, but it's also you have to.
Well, and just because I don't want anybody out there who might be listening thinking, well, people are going to think that I'm schizophrenic or maybe I am, so therefore it's not valid. That's not what we're saying at all. We're just saying that has to be asked. The question has to be asked. It's an awkward question, have you ever been diagnosed and are you on medication? It could be a factor.
That was, and I believe I could right now, I think, pull out if I want, one of the old interview forms, and that is one of the things.
Yeah,
Does
it
anyone
was.
in this household taking medication for any mental disorders
Yeah.
or, have to that, yeah, questions to that nature? Those
Yeah.
are on the interview form, and that's valid because you have to understand, again, the human brain without the body, we're just an electrical soul. We're the same exact thing as what's walking in between dimensions. The difference is we chose to come to Earth and have a soul to hold it,
Right.
and they didn't. You can cause the same things to happen that these creatures can do.
Yeah, or
You really
misinterpret
can.
in the case of fear. I mean, yeah, you're talking about the medications. If I don't take Benadryl because Benadryl makes me spacey as fuck, so I could see
3 hour
like
coma.
right, 3 hour coma, and then I wake up and I'm like, where am I? How did I get here? So these are like all legit questions. But do you remember the first investigation that you ever went on?
The first professional investigation I ever went on?
Yeah,
Yes, I do. And it was before we even had started our group. I was with a group, I don't remember what they were called.
that's
So
okay. We might talk about them later, so we'll just say another group.
they didn't last long anyways, but yes, I do remember my very first investigation with a group of other paranormal investigators. I do.
Was it a house? Just kind of
It was a
general?
house. Fun fact.
Oh no. Oh no.
When you go into a parent when you get around a group of people that are paranormal investigators, you understand that there's going to be sensitive psychics, people that are just there to fuck around and find out. You do. But at the same time, you have this, you hope down in your heart that everybody there's, on board and serious and this and that. So upon meeting, when I first went to the house to meet the people before we went to the haunted location, I met the leader of the group, and he was very, I'm sensitive, I'm the horror, and everyone in the group was, yes, yes, you are the ultimate. We are just here to confirm you. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we go over this is what we're going to experience at this house. This is what they've said. This is what they've done, blah, blah, blah. And so then we went to the location as a group, and I had my equipment, I had my EMF detector, I had my film camera. That's all I had. That's all I had. They had, all their basic stuff too, because again, nobody had any high-tech equipment
No,
other than
God, nothing.
EMF readers. Some people had voice recorders.
Everything was
And so,
analog.
yeah. And so we went into this house. There was nothing going. I don't remember what the people had said. This is what we're experiencing, but we think it's coming from this one part of the house. And so I'm like, okay, cool. So we go into the house. There's probably four or five, maybe six of us, including the leader. And I'm like, I gotta go down the basement. Who wants to come with me? Because you're not supposed to go anywhere alone,
Yeah.
right? Because you gotta
Right?
collab. You gotta have someone to
Yes.
witness things.
Yeah.
So number one, if you go on an investigation alone, it doesn't count for shit.
Pair up.
Sorry. So I'm like, who wants to go with me? So I'm like, oh, some girl or someone said, oh, they come with me. So I'm like, I gotta go down the basement. There ain't nothing up here. It's down the basement. So we go down the basement. I'm like, yeah, okay, well, I know they said this, but that's not what I'm getting. And so I walked over to the corner of the basement, and I was like, oh, no, no, there's a guy. It's not a girl, it's a guy,
Hmm.
and he's doing this constant thing over and over and over and over again. He's going up the stairs, going up these stairs, going up these stairs. Well, there were no stairs in this part of the basement,
Hmm.
but he was constant. He would look at me with like the sack on his shoulder, look at me, and go up the stairs, and then all of a sudden repeat, go back up the stairs, go back up the stairs. And so then at this point, we've been down there so long, the rest of the group came down, and the leader comes down. What are you doing over there? That's not what we weren't picking up. We weren't told there was anything about a guy and a go and the stairs. I said, I know, I said, but this is what he's doing. So people took pictures. Now I don't know what their pictures came out as, and honestly, I probably still haven't developed mine. I don't know where they would be at this point. So this guy was very adamant of trying to get attention and someone to talk to him. And so I turned away from the stairs, and at this point, the rest of the group had come down the basement. And the basement was a hoarding basement. It was
Oh,
hard.
fuck.
Of course, it was a hoarding basement because, of course it was.
Yeah.
So I said, there's this guy, he wants to tell us what happened, what's going on, why he's repeating this over and over in these people's basement. He wants to tell us. And so the leader is like, okay, fine. Fine, whatever. Okay, we'll
She's
do
not
what
gonna
you
shut
say.
up. I better listen to her.
Right. He's like, okay, so we were all standing there in the basement with the recorders on and the EMF readers on, and it got really, really quiet. But in the back of my head, this guy is still trying to talk to me, and I got really mad. Not mad, but it just triggered me, and I said, "Will you say something already? I'm not the only one here. Everybody needs to hear you." And at that time, everybody's EMF detectors went off. You know how they do that red little bleepy thing?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "Oh my God." Turns out, after the fact, because I always do, just personal use, as a rule, I do not investigate the property for anything before an investigation.
Yeah.
Because then you set yourself up to, oh, of course it's Uncle Joe. He died here. No, I
Right.
don't want to know who, I don't know.
Yeah.
I do a follow up afterwards. I do a follow up on the property and the
Very
time.
typical of
Look to
sensitives. Yeah.
see whatever the heck was there. Sure enough, where this neighborhood was, a factory in 1920 blew up, and this dude had died in the factory blow up. And he was like, I'm trying to tell you, I'm still freaking stuck here. But that was not what we were supposed to find. That's not what the people were. They were experiencing things, but they thought it was from something else. And so, needless to say, I was not part of that group after that appointment because I was not the leader who, the leader did not find it. I found
Now,
it and corroborated it, but promptly got kicked out of the group.
oh, yikes. Well,
No,
that sounds like somebody's ego to me, but did you ever work with that guy again? Because I remember you guys had a guy in your team and he might have been legit, but he was just so over the top. He would I remember he would come into a room and he would go like, it was like, would wear this like long coat too. And he's like, I have to get out of here. It was so very
no, it was a
melodramatic.
different guy.
Okay.
This was a different guy.
There's
Yeah,
two of
no,
them
that
out
guy,
there.
that guy I never had any more contact with. I got kicked out the group, never talked to those people again.
So you started in this that was your first one. I remember so we started with you guys and I'm pretty sure that you took us because you were smart. You're like, you know what? There's a lot of yahoos out here that don't know what they're doing or they're like that guy. So you took us to a cemetery first. So to kind of check us out and do some practice. But I think the first actual case that we did, there was a restaurant and I don't remember where it was.
Oh, the White Horse.
Was it? Yeah. And it was like there was an apartment
The White
above and then there was the
Horse.
restaurant.
It was a brothel above.
Was it?
The
Or
tea
yeah,
room
former brothel.
upstairs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Former people, former
Oof.
brothel.
I'm pretty
But
sure that
yeah,
was the, yeah, that was the only restaurant we did was the White Horse, which was that's a big place to
yeah.
investigate. Yeah.
Yeah, with a whole apartment upstairs. And what I remember mostly about that one was not that anything happened that I recall that I experienced or even got on evidence, but I remember you had a guy, and I wish I knew what his name was. I'm sorry, he was a really nice guy, but you had a guy on your team. And I remember him telling some story about motion detectors where there were he had had motion detectors set up like down a hall or room to room. And he said it was one of the scariest things that he had experienced where something happened in some location and then all of the detectors went off as it was seemingly coming closer to him. And that was the only thing I really remember about it. It wasn't that investigation. I just remember him telling me about it on our first investigation and me thinking I would shit my pants. I will I will shit my pants if that ever happens. And that's probably why they leave me alone because the ghosts are probably like, yeah, we don't want that scenario. We can't be responsible for her shitting her pants because she
Well,
will.
I mean, well, that's the thing. I mean, whether you're as sensitive or not, things are going to happen and you're going to experience them. If you're a sensitive, you know it's coming. You can feel it coming. You can feel the buildup. You can feel the pressure. You can feel the sense that you can do. So you know something's about to happen. So generally, you're not surprised. Although sometimes you still go, "Whoa, oh, okay." But if you're not, you may be You may be intuitive enough to pick up a ghost and see a ghost, but you're not sensitive enough. You haven't built those skills up or
Yeah.
harnessed them or opened them up to know it was coming. So yeah, those are legit things. People can just be like, "I'm new. Let me put this out," and poof, there's the ghost, and they freak out and scream and run.
Right.
Totally fair, because yeah, that can happen if
I'm
you're not
saying
prepared or
I
you're
would
not used
now.
to it.
I'm saying as a person who did it for 10 years, talks about it, wrote books about it, I would I think if I ever experience anything, I will shit my pants.
Really?
But
Still? Come
I know,
on,
no, I
no.
probably wouldn't. I'm not. Actually, I find real life much scarier
Oh,
than
it is.
anything paranormal. Yeah.
Real life and dealing with real humans is 100 times more horrifying than any alien abduction and superstition experience or supernatural experience and paranormal experience I've ever had in my
Yeah.
entire life.
I would take any scariest ghost hunt over going back to corporate life in a heartbeat. So you told me
Yep.
last time in our last episode that I asked you about just in general your ability and had anything ever freaked you out, and you said no. Have you ever had any experience in your ghost hunting where it did make you prickle a little bit, at least? I know you're pretty even keel, but
I did at one cemetery, and I'm not. This was I don't know if this was the same cemetery. We did three cemeteries with our group. Tyler Cemetery, which was
we did that too.
downriver. We did Thayer Cemetery, and then we did one that was like over by Howell somewhere. I'd have to look and see what they were. But the one that was down by Ypsilanti, it was very famous for being a very haunted cemetery. Supposedly there was a witch buried there, although there's no documentation of that. But it's supposedly known as being a very haunted cemetery. That was the only place where actually when I picked up on something, it was a very unhappy dude, just gruff, big, unhappy, just ugh, dude.
Hmm.
And I did get pushed once from him. And then I was like, okay, fine. So I didn't make you, it's like a stranger. You don't make eye contact. If you get physically touched, don't make eye contact. Just walk away. Don't encourage them, you know? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to walk away. And then he started coming after me. And that was probably the only time in my life and this is like after prisons and everything that I've done, this was probably the only time I was like, this dude wants to kill me. He is going to kill me. And I got far enough away. I remember running down one of the rows of cemetery until I got away from his grave. And he was gone. But that dude was coming at me, and that's the only time I did actually feel threatened by a ghost.
Did you shit
Yeah.
your pants?
No, not necessarily. It was just like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like it was scary because it was scary because it gave me the same feeling as if a real human had jumped me in an alley and wanted to kill me. You know, that
Do you,
primal fear.
yeah. Do you think that this was like a classic ghost? or was it something else? And how, if it's a ghost, I know that a lot of people who are listening might think, how can a ghost hurt you? They would, I would imagine it would take quite a bit of energy. They could do it, but I
It
would imagine that
does.
it would
It's
take,
not that they can physically slap you, it's that they can create that energy force between you. Remember,
okay.
they can tap into your energy. So it's like that it's like that Bruce Lee thing where he would go up to someone and just touch, not even touch them, and they would fall over.
Yeah.
It's like that. They tap into that same energy so they actually can use your energy against you. It's not that they're building it up and I'm a ghost. I Because
Yeah.
the guy had not turned into a full apparition. He was still just an entity with no face to other people. He was just there. But he was strong enough. He had built up strong enough energy to tap into mine. So it's when they tap into yours that they actually are like manipulating you. They're not coming at you with a fist and they're gonna punch you like a
Right.
human. It's more like you know,
Yeah.
it's more like a
Where
tidal wave type of thing,
where
I
do you
guess.
think that they're getting the energy? Because sometimes, like in a cemetery, even though there might be a few lights around, but generally there's not a lot of what we would think of energy around there. So are they pulling from fear, emotion? I mean, can they pull in
They
from human?
They pull from any source that they can get. They're not, yes, like in a house, they can pull from electricity, but they can also pull from residual energy. Energy is energy. Anything that a human, because we are energy beings, anything that we touch retains some of our energy. So, like, right, if you touch a table and then look at it with an infrared, you see your fingerprints are still
Right.
there, right? So they can pick up from regular electricity, they can pick up residual energy, they can feed off of humans and their energy. So, especially if you've got a group of people that are frightened in a cemetery, so they're already generating like, they're already, their little hamsters on their electric wheels are generating already a lot of energy through their feelings and their emotions.
Yes.
Boof, it's like that's what they can feed off of. So like for example, people go into a haunted house already scared. Those are the people that are going to experience something first.
Yeah.
Always.
Here's something that I think about a lot very recently, and this is a pretty recent thing, although it's been kind of known that there's something. But so I listen to a lot of like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Star Talk podcasts with other, scientists. I can't remember the one guy's name, but he's pretty famous too, British guy. And this is not something that I actually started thinking about after my conversation with you, because I just happened to see this video where Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about dark energy and how there is this energy out there that is undetectable, but they know it's there, dark matter and dark energy in the universe, and it is by far more quantity than regular mass and energy that we are aware of and can measure. And I thought when I
Heard about
heard
that.
that,
Yep.
yeah, that was one of the things that I thought, I wonder if that, I mean, so many things, like, could that be source? Could that be, the source of souls? Could it be, what is it? It could be, veil between infinite dimensions. It could be parallel, if we can't even detect it, we couldn't even say it could be anything. So I wonder sometimes,
We can't detect it with like modern instruments, but we can detect it with our minds because if you can
that's
get
what I'm
past your
saying.
human ego, you
Yeah,
can tap into that energy, like that, like remote viewing, like telepathy, like sensing somebody's crying from another state.
yeah,
That's more along those lines. Like we can do it. We just don't know that that's what it is. And that's
yeah,
completely different than talking to a ghost coming through on the regular planes of energy, the
yeah.
regular
But
vibes.
but because it's presumably all around us and we just can't, I wondered if that could be something. I mean, energy's energy. whether it's
It
darker
is.
or, so that could
Energy
that
is
be something?
energy.
And
Yes.
could it be concentrated in areas, again, undetectable, but could that be why some areas tend to be hot spots for, in addition to other things? Of course, we know, like you said, we know water retains energy. We know rock, people have recorded stuff on a fucking potato chip bag. I mean, that's how energy
Mhm.
will can record. But
Yeah, that
um,
could be the theory. That could be what is the cause of very haunted places, Definitely, because there's just like just like the atmosphere floats around the planet, so that the like right now it's raining here, so the atmosphere is very heavy here, but it's very light over there. Things
yeah.
come and go in mass waves. Well, so does energy. You go to a spot or a salt bath in Arizona, that's a complete new energy. 2 miles down the road, there's nothing. So we know that energy, as well as atmosphere and everything, is always moving in waves and patterns and more dense in areas than others. So I
Yeah.
would say that theory definitely has something to do with what causes more places to be active than others.
We're going to break here and come back with another episode, part two, of Ghost Hunting Memories, because there's a lot more to come. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thanks for joining this episode of Something Weird Happened Here. If you have a twisted tale that you witnessed, experienced, or heard from a reliable source, go to bethanecampbell.com/somethingweird to learn more and submit your story. If your tale is twisted enough, we'll share it on air during one of our episodes and might even invite you to be a guest on the show. And we're not picky. Your Something Weird Happened Here could be paranormal, psychic, UFOs, near-death experiences, dreams, parallel dimensions, Bigfoot, chupacabra, or any other weird and unexplained phenomena. We don't discriminate. If you're into paranormal mysteries that are scary, fun, and realistic, pick up a copy of my latest book, The R.I.P. Files: Case of the Demon Drums, the first in a series inspired by real cases that I, Bethany Campbell, worked on when I was a ghost hunter for nearly a decade. Case of the Demon Drums is available on Amazon and most online bookstores. And finally, we would so appreciate it if you would rate and review us on your favorite streaming platform and/or on YouTube. Thanks again, and remember, stay skeptical, but don't run towards the noise.